Oh, man, I hate Mondays.
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is. Tuesday. Brewsday Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah! Grab a cold one. It's Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar and Six Pack Store. Here is Huck and Big Nate.
There you go.
I feel like you were a little early on the trigger there. Ooh.
Yeah, it did go. It did actually crack. My old fingernails. You know, I'm going to get one of those openers. I keep saying that. That'll open it for me.
I mean, we've talked about it since the beginning. Cans always.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord,
They're
this
funny.
can. I can't wait to talk about this. Welcome into another edition of Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store. I'm Big Nate. He is Average Huck.
I'm your Huckleberry.
There you go. That's a
I'm
fantastic movie.
It was. That's where that came from. Because I played poker online and I had to have a name, so I made it Huck. And they go, "How come you named Huck?" And then whenever I have two aces, I go, "I'm your Huckleberry." I think we haven't talked about this, but Drez and I talked about it. So actually, there's some controversy over exactly what he said, what Doc Holliday said, and what he might have actually said was, "I'm your Hucklebearer." A huckle was what they called the handles on a coffin. The 8 handles or 6 handles where they carry the coffin. So what he might have been saying was, "I'm your Hucklebearer," which means I'm going to kill you and put you in a box and take you to Tombstone.
You know,
Boot Hill.
that makes way more sense, but I prefer a Huckleberry.
Yeah. I'm good
and
either way.
You know what? That's an appropriate. I've got the Southern Pines Man of Law.
There you go.
That couldn't have tied together any better. Okay, so what have you been up to since Beerster?
Oh, went to where did I go? I went to my place in Fincastle and power washed my garage, and I went to.
I believe you went down to the beach.
Oh, I went to the beach. That's correct. Almost.
That's what I was going for.
Almost put the big Jeep in the ocean. But we recovered. That video is online, by the way.
I didn't find the video. I just saw the pictures of the aftermath. What exactly happened?
Well, we were driving on the beach, and we went out and had a few beers and watched some fish for a while, and then we're heading back. So, of course, you try to go out at low tide because you got the most beach. Well, when we're coming back, we're like 3 hours past low tide. That's like a 6 to 7 hour thing. So we're about halfway done with low tide. So we get off on the section beach. It was only 2 miles. I said, let's do 2 more miles. Tide's coming in. So about in the middle of this section, because of all the storms and the hurricanes, it's really skinny. There was about 12 to 14 feet of beach, and it was 2 levels. So I'm on the top level, and I'm scooting along pretty good because I'm a little nervous. Well, it got skinnier, so it wasn't quite as wide as the Jeep, and the Jeep went to the down, and the right wheels slid, and the whole Jeep slid down the bank as I'm going forward and into the water, basically, right where the waves are finishing breaking. So I stop because I was afraid it's going to tip over. And I inched forward a little bit, and I'm stuck. So I pull up into low range, give it some gas, and it pops out of low range. And I'm like, so I put it back in regular, backed up, and then just gunned it and popped out through the wave and back onto the beach. And then that's when I started filming because I was too busy living. But I'm like, let's just put $10,000 worth of Jeep upside down the ocean 50 miles from the nearest tow truck. That'll be a good idea. As high tide's coming in, we would never have found the Jeep, I'm pretty sure, had it tipped over. But other than that, we had a lot of fun. We went all over the beach. But I'm pretty sure I'm invincible now.
I mean, you survived COVID and now survived your Jeep debacle. I feel like you've had some other close calls that I remember.
Yeah, but this is not in this Jeep. This is the first time in this Jeep. So I've got, these beers are all from North Kakalaki, as I like to say. This one is Road to Nowhere, PNW styled IPA. I guess I'm going to have to look that up.
Pacific Northwest.
Okay. From the Pacific, beautiful South, and Fullsteam Brewing Company, Durham, North Carolina. It tastes like it might have some alcohol in it. Let me see if it says... Oh, yeah, 6.6, almost a Huck session. And it basically tastes like a pine tree's butt.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get into the stats on this Man of Law. First of all, cool label. If you're watching the video, there's like a cowboy RoboCop that's just
nice.
magnificent. But they're out of Southern Pines, North Carolina. 6.4% ABV on this Man of Law American IPA, 60 IBUs. Not too crazy on the bitterness. It does not taste quite like you're licking a pine tree. There's a little more flavor going on.
Definitely pine, a bitter pine. This pine has had its heart broken before it was made into beer.
This is kind of it's got a little more of the and they say right on the front, citrus. To me, it tastes like grapefruit.
Yeah, I kind of like the citra.
I tend to roll towards that direction.
So anyway, yeah. Also, so the beach was good. We had a big giant mishap on the way.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're driving down, and I said, I'm hungry. Why don't we stop in? I can't remember the name of the town, but it's like this diner, the diner Waverly, Virginia, and where they have the country ham, the little diner there. So we pull in there, and it was great. Got the fried chicken, and coleslaw and biscuits, ham biscuits, country ham biscuits, and so we eat all this food. So I'm getting ready to leave, and I text Liz, and she says, "Well, Huckette," and she says, "How's the Jeep doing?" I said, "It's doing great. It's unbelievable."
No. Famous last words.
So we walk outside, and the Jeep is vomiting orange liquid out of the bottom of the radiator. And so I'm like, ugh. So I look, and there's a garage right across the street. So I drive over there, and I'm like, dude, he goes, I just closed. I said, I know. I said, my radiator's leaking. I wonder if there's something I can put in. He goes, yeah, I got this stuff, stop leak. $40 a bottle. So I put it in there, gave me some water, filled it up. And I said, now what do I do? You just go run, it'll fix it. So I was like, all right. So we pull out on the highway, speed up to 55 miles an hour, and my radiator explodes and covers the whole windshield in yellow, now solidifying goop.
Yeah.
So we pull over, it was kind of, what's the word? It's apropos. We pulled over into the Napa Auto Parts store parking lot. I guess if you got to leave a bunch of antifreeze somewhere, that's probably where to leave it. And so I call, I'm going to do an anti-commercial here. So I had road service with my insurance. I'm not going to say who they are, but there might be a little lizard involved. And I said, I've road service. And they're like, well, we don't know who you are, where you are, and we need to ask you 100 questions. I said, well, what's the cover anyway? She goes, towing for 25 miles. I'm like, okay, got to go. So I call AAA, and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. I see you're at the Napa Parts store. I'm like, yeah. Can you send somebody to get me? Sure. Where do you want to go? I didn't even have to talk to somebody. The computer knew where I was. Yeah. I told the computer where I wanted to go, and then they sent somebody, and they took us all the way to Kill Devil Hills in a tow truck. So I'm like, Saturday afternoon, I'm on the phone with the guy at Kill Devil Hills. I said, I'm going to bring my Jeep there. It's really next to where we're staying. Can you work on it Monday? He's like, I'll work on it tomorrow. It's like, what? He's like, I said, just text me when you get here. I'll come over and open up the shop. I said, okay. So we get there, we text him. He's, oh man. He says, I'm out. This is like 6 o'clock in the evening. He's like, I'm under a car on the highway. Just drop the keys in the box and back it in front of the door. I'm like, okay. So we do that. And so the next morning he calls, so he texts me and he says, yeah, you need a new radiator, but I can probably get to it around 2. I said, okay. So we go there at 11 and we pay him for the radiator, and he orders it. And then while we're walking back, they go by with it. I'm like, that's cool. So by 3, he hadn't called, so we went to the bar. So he calls and then brought it over to the bar. I mean, the thing runs great, but it was orange.
Yeah, I've definitely had the antifreeze leaking experience. I've never had the experience where a mechanic recommends the stop leak, because in my experience, that stuff's like really bad.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say the dude that fixed my radiator said it took an extra hour because they were trying to get all that junk out of all my engine
so
parts.
Bad. Like I do not recommend ever putting that anywhere near a vehicle. I haven't had near the adventures.
I should have just pulled over and called AAA before I tried anything. Just have them come get it, take it there. Especially since I found a guy that would do it on a Sunday. Come on, at a resort.
In your defense, you saw across the street there was a garage. Who's not going to the garage?
Right.
Like, you did the logical thing. That guy gave you bad advice.
I was in Waverly, Virginia. There was a Napa, which Napas are everywhere, but they don't have anything you need. But there was the other auto parts store were not there.
They can usually get it by 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
The next day.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I've never, I have had to have them order parts frequently.
Yeah. Well, of course.
What do you keep in the storeroom back there?
I know
It's
they
not
got
the parts
huge
I need.
shelves. Goes on
What do you guys
out.
have back there? It's like when you used to go to the video rental store and all the cases were actually empty.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing at the auto parts store.
Yeah, they got all the fake plastic
Just
tool
fake
on the
cases.
shelf. Well, that's funny. Yeah, but otherwise, I love Nag's Head. I was a little mad about my timeshare. So if anybody's looking at timeshare, don't buy one. But I got one. I'll sell you. Great deal. Don't buy one.
There you go.
Again, don't buy one.
Now, are you going to be leading one of those seminars?
Yeah, I'll do
to get people
if somebody will buy it, I'll do a seminar. I'll give you a towel or something.
I might used.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll tell this in the next segment, my timeshare stories.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't had near the adventures you've had.
Well, you're not anywhere near as old. You're not like half as old as I am.
Well, no, I meant just since the last time we talked.
Oh well.
Went to the Cascades.
Oh yeah, how was
And,
that?
I
love the Cascades.
Beautiful. They haven't really, I'm guessing from the winter, they haven't really done much to the path. So I'm just pushing. We've got a hiking stroller for our 1.5-year-old. But obviously it didn't mean hiking the Cascades. We made it about a mile into the upper loop. And I was like, all right, we got to turn back. We've been at this for an hour and a half. So,
yeah, you can't take a stroller on the trail. You could take it on the road. Is that what you were doing?
No, we were doing so you know how it has the lower loop where you go through all the rocks and you're like right up on Stony Creek, and then the upper loop, which is what people usually used to come down. We were going up the upper loop.
Yeah, you should have been able to make that.
Well, no,
it is a little rough there where the water comes across. I was up there a month or two ago.
There were a bunch of the spots where they haven't. Usually they've come through, and I assume they do it like early May is when they'll go through and kind of regrade everything.
Well, the last time we were up there like a month and a half ago, we came around the trail and there's a rather large lady sitting on the rock in the upper half, and there was a cutest little baby you ever did see, and I was talking to the baby, and the baby's like all of a sudden crying. I'm like, what's the matter? And he goes, her mommy's hurt. And I'm like, oh. So there was a fireman there. So we go up the rest of the trail. We were probably not that far in, so we had another mile or so. We're coming back down, and here's all these firemen coming up the trail. They're like, have you seen because apparently your phone doesn't work once you get about a whole mile in. And I'm like, yeah, they're right over there. And then this guy pops up over the cliff out there, and I'm like, yeah, there he is. And they all went there, and then we go down to like 8 more firefighters come. I can't say anything because I'm moving to that town, but I'm sure they're great. But I don't think they were going to make it, and I don't think they were going to be any help getting her out either. Like 4 of them.
Keep calling.
They were like breathing pretty heavy, and they were on the flat part.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still my favorite hike. Like I said, we were stubborn, and I tried to force it through as much as we could. I think, honestly, like you said, we can't really do that. We have to get the kiddo some actual hiking shoes because he can walk. Like that wouldn't have been a problem. But he's half my height, so I wasn't going to carry him the whole.
I think
way up the mountain.
My granddaughter did it when she was 3 by herself. I think we halfway her halfway down, but she went up pretty well by herself.
All right, so there's our hiking and adventure stories for the half hour.
Yeah.
And now it's time to rate these brews.
Well, I'm going to say the Road to Nowhere is a pretty fitting name because I'm going nowhere with this. It's actually, if you like Stone IPA or Rogue IPA, you might like the Road to Nowhere. It's very piney. I'm not a fan of piney bitterness, and this is what this is. A fine example of piney bitterness. Let me take one more sip. I was going to do 3.75. I'll give it a 4 because I do like the can, and I like the art, and it's a good example of what it is.
He's Huck's Beer Buzz on Untapped. I am Horror Show Radio. I really think I should just pack up shop and start a new one because I've made it nowhere with changing my name on Untapped. Southern Pines Brewing Company, Man of Law. I don't know. It's not great. It's not bad. This is passable. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give it a 3. I would give it to my buddy. I wouldn't have any hesitation about handing it, but it's not necessarily what I'm looking for. It feels like on the back end, it kind of falls a little flat.
There you go. Well, let's hope. The can looked a little like it'd been around a while too.
The can.
Yeah,
though,
it had the can. The art's good, but it looked like it was beat up.
Yeah,
so that one might have been sitting around.
Not great, not bad, middle of the road. It's a 3, and we're gonna go back into the rock.
There you go.
Brewsday Tuesday brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store rolls on next on 105.3 The Bear.